Welcome back, guys. Starting this video off by simply saying do not buy these tourniquets. These tourniquets have had a ton of issues. There's been a lot of reported cases of someone throwing it on and it doesn't stop the bleeding or they break. Now, that was a little clickbaity. These might appear to be North American Rescue tourniquets, but they are not. These are counterfeit. This here is a actual North American Rescue tourniquet, and this works. These are the ones you want to buy. So as we can see here, the real ones and the fakes look pretty similar, but there's a big difference. These cost about $30. These cost between $6 and $10. I'm telling you, don't buy them. Why I have one here. I would never use the fake ones as a immediate medical device. I got a couple to use for demonstration. Now there are a couple ways to tell the difference between the real and fake ones. I'll give a couple examples. I'm not going to go into all of them. So if we open the tourniquets up, you can see here on the real one, you'll have a logo, usually the cat logo. The fake ones do not. They're typically smooth on the back. So it might be hard to see, but North American Rescue will typically have another indicator printed on the actual band. The fakes do not. And bring that down to the tip, the way they finish the end of the strap, North American Rescue uses some type of plastic welding. This here, basically, they just melted it. So there's just a couple ways to tell the difference between the real tourniquets and the fake tourniquets. So the real ones, they've had a ton of documented success. Overseas, in the U.S., these are proven and approved by TCCC, the Committee for Tactical Combat Casualty. These came into the U.S. market for a couple reasons. One, they're counterfeits. Chinese market trying to provide fake ones. For the airsoft community that tries to look the part, okay? For them, these don't need to work. They're just trying to make it appear like they have the real thing. But unfortunately, these have found their way into the hands of good people who just don't know any better. Law enforcement agencies, even some military units have accidentally gotten these thinking they're the real deal. Now, some people say, well, it doesn't matter. The truth of the matter is, not all tourniquets are made the same. These might look similar enough, but when you throw a real one on, when you actually start tightening down and you get tight, it should only take roughly 3 turns. Now, that's an average. These, though, can take 7, 8 turns if they actually do get the bleeding stopped. With that in mind, though, the quality control is also extremely lacking. This one came straight out of the box and the windlass was already broken off. This fake one, we threw it on someone and just immediately tightening it down, the buckle snapped. So with that in mind, should you buy these? The answer is most likely no. Typically, if it's just myself, I'll carry a tourniquet. Every couple years I'll switch it out, take the old one out, throw it in our training pile, and then buy a new one. So you don't want to buy these in that case. Now, if you're teaching a lot of people how to apply tourniquets and you have a budget, we might be able to afford to get everyone 1 or 2 of these for personal use. Once we apply the real deal, it should no longer be used in a first aid trauma capacity. Because after you use it once, it could start tampering it. It may not work as well the next time. So don't practice with your real tourniquet. Once this has been used, throw it in your training bin and buy a new one. That's where these might come in, because these are about $6 versus the real one's about $30. So I was teaching a class with about 40 people. And with that, I was trying to have them use tourniquets to practice on. So that's why I picked up some counterfeits, knowing they would never be used on a real person to save someone's life. But that way I was able to pass out about a dozen of them to people throughout the class. Hey, put this on, and show people how to use it, because for about $60 I was able to get a dozen. So for training purposes, and if they break, it's not a big deal. I'll just throw it away and it doesn't get anyone killed. Now, if you have the budget, North American Rescue, they do sell dedicated training tourniquets. If you want to use those, they're great. They last a long time. So I've not seen any of these break. I've seen them used quite a bit even in training, over and over again. In worst cases, they bend. These I've seen break a lot. So if you don't have a budget, only buy these and only buy the training version from North American Rescue. If you have a budget, buy these for your trauma kits, first aid kits. Really avoid buying these unless you want 1 or 2 as a training tourniquet for $6 or $8. If you do that though, just make sure you have some way to tell this is indeed a training tourniquet we don't have to necessarily go back and try to find it. So what I did was I just tried to take some white paint, quickly paint the windlass. I wrote training use only on the timestamp. So you could do some stuff like that just to illustrate, yes, this is for training, not for real use. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked our video, please like, subscribe, and leave your comments below.